Hey YouTubers, how's everybody doing? Welcome to the Cuban Redneck DIY channel where we do cooking and grilling on Tuesdays and DIY stuff on Fridays. My name is JC, and if this is your first time here, I want to give you a warm welcome. I know you've heard this a million times, but I do appreciate if you was to share, like, and subscribe. With that said, today I want to talk to you about isolating spindle sanders. Do you need one? Are you looking for one? So before you go spending all kinds of crazy money, let me show you how I selected one. So yes, I was in the market for an isolated spindle sander, and I was browsing the Rockler website, not even looking for that in particular, but I saw one there that was very attractive. One thing I do not need in my shop is one big monstrosity that's going to be, taking space on top of a bench or just taking square footage. I don't have the space to afford tools that take a big footprint. So with that said, I saw this unit at Rockler. I believe it was like $120, and it's very attractive because it was not only tiny, but it was portable and very small, perfect for the job. So for some apparent reason, I didn't pull the trigger on that day, and a couple of days or so later, I was browsing the Facebook Marketplace for some used tools, and I ran into an ad from Lowe's for a very similar unit, only costing $48. So decided to take a gamble. I can buy two and still have $20 left, and went ahead and ordered. Well, the pieces here, and not only that, but after examination and the striping, the bolt pattern, and everything else, that's a really good possibility that both of these units were made by the same Chinese guys. So with that said, I want to take this to the next level, and what I've decided to do is to integrate it into my Harbor Freight folding bench and expand its capability. So check this out. After watching the intro, you're probably asking yourself, what is the big deal about installing a spindle sander into a bench? All you need is a hole for the spindle, transfer the bolt pattern of the faceplate, and you're good to go. Well, I also said that I wanted to take this tool to another level. In my opinion, the portability of this device is being impacted in a negative way by how small or how thin the faceplate is. I don't care how strong you are, I don't care how careful you are, this is a 5-amp motor, and once it gets going, you're going to have issues keeping this thing straight and or level with the working surface. So for that reason, I decided to redo the faceplate. I have plenty of 1/2-inch polypropylene that I have left over from the router faceplate project. If you didn't see that, this is a cutting board from Sam's, cost about $8. Aside from that, after we change the faceplate, then we need to worry about the integration into the workbench. My engineering mind started wondering, and I started thinking about putting aluminum rails, have the thing slide in and out. And after thinking about it, I said, there's really no need to get that complicated. I have plenty of scraps of both red oak and some ebony. This stuff is super hard. And really all we need to do is create a frame on the bottom to reinforce the deck, because it is 3/4 inch material. We're going to take a 1/2 inch out and insert some brass inserts, and that is it. So let's run to the saw.
Okay, so after thinking about it, I decided to go with the ebony wood. The pieces I have here are about 10 inches long by 1.5. I'm going to rip it into 3/8 strips. To mount them, I flipped the bench, and after finding center, I made marks about 3 inches from center on each side. Using this B-square as reference, I drove some 1¼ inch brad nails into it to hold it while the glue sets. Because of fit, I ended up using a regular square on the other side. Since I'm going to be taking a huge chunk of the deck, I left the top stringer to full length so that it can serve as a lateral rib. With that in place, let's take it outside. We don't want to cut MDF inside the shop. After transferring the dimensions of the ring, I mark a second ring about 1/4 inch smaller. then went ahead and cut along the line with the jigsaw. I proceeded to open it with a trim bit. The next step is to cut a 1/2-inch rabbet along the edge. Because I'm using a cordless router, I make the first pass at a 1/4-inch depth, and then the second pass at the full 1/2-inch depth. The last thing we need to do for our DIY oscillating spindle sander is the faceplate. Because I am using what is sold as a cutting board, there is a slight rounding on the outer edge. For this reason, I made the first pass a little bit wider, flipped it, and then cut it to size. That way I end up with a nice square edge. As far as rounding the corners, I think that people make this too much of a big deal. I know that there are many ways to accomplish this, some more scientific than others, but for the most part, I just go look for something that has a similar circumference, freehand the cut with a jigsaw, and finish it up with a file. Transferring the bolt pattern is just as easy. Simply find the center, clamp the two pieces together, and drill through. The next step is to drill the opening for the spindle sander and countersink all the mounting holes, which I did at the drill press. The mounted screws for the faceplates were a little bit of a trick because they are a funny coarse thread which I had no match for. The closest I got are these stainless steel deck screws, which I ended up trimming about a 1/4 inch. To fix the spindle sander plate onto the workbench, I drill and fix brass threaded inserts from the bottom of the bench. A lot of people don't like to use this because they have the tendency of breaking as you screw them in place, especially with hardwoods like ebony. I find that by threading them into a bolt and using a stop knot, they go in much better and straighter. My friends, this is it. I don't think you're going to find a cheaper oscillated spindle sander out there. And if you have a small workshop like mine, I think you will appreciate how compact this spindle sander is.
Please support this channel by subscribing, liking, and sharing. And don't forget to hit that notification bell. Thank you.